And good evening to you. The subject of what a Minneapolis Police Department should look like is controversial, and there are questions the candidates for Minneapolis mayor aren't ready to answer concerning that department if they win.
Political reporter Theo Keith has interviewed them all, from staffing levels to who's in charge. He says they're not making all of their plans public.
Nowhere are the differences between the candidates for Minneapolis mayor bigger than on the future of the police department.
Well, I think you got to look at the facts.
Incumbent Jacob Fry is a no on question 2, the ballot measure changing MPD into a public safety agency with a public health approach to crime. Fry says he and Chief Madera Arredondo are the most capable stewards of the MPD. Yet the chief's contract is up in January, and neither he nor the mayor is saying what happens then.
Are you going to tell the voters by Election Day if you're going to reappoint the chief?
My commitment is to reappoint the chief. Yeah, the question is one of Chief Arredondo.
So we asked the chief, who isn't committing to staying even if voters reject question 2 and keep the MPD.
I have not had those conversations with my family.
Don't the voters deserve to know, are we going to have Chief Arredondo in February of next year?
He has my 100% commitment, and I've told him directly that. Now, I also know that this is a heavy job. He has to have these conversations with his family, and I respect that. And so I'm not putting him on a firm timeline or deadline as to when he makes his decision, but I can tell you that mine is already made.
Challengers Sheila Nejad and Kate Knuth are both yes votes on question 2. They say the MPD under Fry and Arredondo is broken, pointing to the actions of officers during the George Floyd protests.
Be very, very quiet. We're nothing activists.
If I'm mayor, I want to target with solutions we know work.
Nejad has advocated for abolishing the police department. During an online forum in July 2020, she linked the burning of the 3rd police precinct to getting council members to support abolition.
I think getting the city council to say that they are going to begin the process of ending the Minneapolis Police Department, which was the statement we wrote for them and they pledged to. Burning down the precinct had a lot to do with that.
Was the burning of the 3rd precinct a good thing or a bad thing?
What an interesting question. I think that what we saw last summer was an outpouring of people's pain, right? In addition to an influx of people who came from outside the city. I wish that we could have had compassionate response from our mayor at that time. And that our neighborhoods would have felt safe all the time.
So I'll respectfully ask the question again.
Yeah.
Was the burning of the precinct a good thing or a bad thing?
I think it's complicated for all those reasons that I stated. Yeah.
If voters wipe away MPD's staffing requirement, future city councils and mayors would decide how to staff the new public safety agency. In the face of this uncertainty, city HR staff this week took the step of telling police officers they would not be fired in the immediate aftermath of a yes vote on question 2.
Knuth has committed to current police funding for 2 years, which she says is enough for 770 officers.
And I have committed to where we are currently funded with police, which is actually above where we are in terms of numbers, because so many officers have left the force in the last weeks and months.
While she's specific about short-term staffing, she's not saying how many officers should remain in the city budget after that.
I have been clear that a Department of Public Safety, with police as an essential part of it, is how we most effectively move forward as a city.
Nejad says she wants 888 people in the Public Safety Department, the same number as MPD's current authorization. But she's not saying how many of those 888 should be sworn law enforcement.
I will fight to maintain an 888 public safety staff and diversify the types of staff we have. So more mental health responders, more domestic and sexual violence advocates for those who have experienced interpersonal violence.
Fry has earned ridicule from activists for opposing question 2, a plan he says is not well thought out. Yet on his watch over the last 18 months, Minneapolis has seen nearly 300 police officers leave. Fry says the city needs to build back its ranks with 5 recruiting classes, emphasizing diverse hires.
We will ultimately get back there, and simultaneously, it will take time. You know, you can't hire an officer on Amazon.
All three candidates have pledged to pursue their desired changes, even if the vote on question 2 goes against their wishes next Tuesday. Though for Fry, that's much harder if question 2 passes and the city council gets more control of the new public safety agency. As for Knuth and Nejad, their goals are much harder to achieve if the MPD and a minimum staffing requirement both remain in the city charter.
Right.
It is complicated for them and voters.
Yeah, that's for sure.
Thanks, Theo.